Hi, hello, and welcome to this week's devlog. How y'all doing? I hope you've been well. This video is all about creating the home base for our planetary system's planet. The player's gonna start off on this home planet and they kinda need a place to stay, so that's what we've been building this week. And this is just a whole bunch of sped up footage as we do. What you're watching right now is actually from a stream from a couple weeks ago. We stream a couple times a week, so you can check out our Twitch there, but I think you all already know that. But yeah, this is us making a few different pieces of the home base, and then we kind of assemble everything, and some pieces get remade and then retextured, and there's a lot of back and forth just making it look really nice. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll be cutting in and out to explain a few things. But yeah, have a good one. So during the end of the stream, or at the beginning of the stream, we had made a bed area, but I felt it was a little too high poly for what we wanted. So you're seeing here now me remaking like the pillow and the mattress and the blanket, and just at a lower poly kind of count, so it's not super detailed. And I'm just kind of forming the blanket to the mattress area, and it's kind of just like a suspended bed on these like pole things, which I think is kind of cool. So that was one of the first pieces that got remade. Surprisingly, one of the trickier parts to make was the walls to both the boxes and the actual walls of the structure. So here you see I'm trying to get angles right so that the walls could connect together. I think we ended up not using this one, if I remember correctly, because the angles didn't line up properly, but I think we did end up using this for the boxes. So it's a lot of like pushing and pulling different vertices to kind of get that depth that it's made out of these metal panels. And then to also add to that, I kind of just made these little half spheres that kind of look like screws to kind of appear like they've been nailed in or screwed in. And just lining these all up to try to create a box out of it. And I actually had a really fun time texturing these. You'll see at the end, this box turns out to be this really cool kind of glowy effect because I painted on the inside of those edges with this bright blue and then kind of had a black shadow going over it, so it kind of looked like this blue was illuminating from the inside of the box, or at least from the edges, so I think that looks really cool. So I used the same kind of strategy to make the walls as I did the boxes because I kind of liked how it turned out. And so same thing, kind of pinching these panels or these uh, sides to look like panels and giving them their depth, and again going in and just putting a bunch of these screws into the walls to make it look like, you know, it was actually made out of metal pieces, which I think was pretty successful in the end. Another fun piece to figure out was how the door was going to work with the walls. I ended up just taking one of the walls, cutting out a section of it, and then making a door piece that would fit into it, and using that same technique to create it to look like it was part of the wall, or at least part of the same materials. And then I ended up putting instead of hinges, I used just some spheres to kind of act as the hinges, and I think that ended up looking really cool. And I also modeled this really simple keypad that goes on the inside of the door, or on both sides of the doorway. Just as, instead of like having a handle, I thought the keypad would be cooler. And there's those spherical hinges you'll see now. And the last part of doing everything was assembling it all together. Once I had the walls and the posts and the bed and the door, everything, it was just a matter of lining everything up, which it wasn't exactly right because of these posts you'll see, but eventually everything lined up just right, and we went about assembling this home base. And the final piece to it all was creating a floor and a ceiling. What you're seeing here is not actually the final way I did it. I started with making some squares and repeating them, but again, everything was just a little off because they weren't perfect squares. So there was a lot of adjusting I had to do, but eventually we got a pretty solid floor and then also a ceiling to top off this space. And to finish up, here's a look at the final model in all its glory. You've got some extra pipes, kind of looking like they're maybe oxygen filters coming out the top. We've got a door. We've got the inside. We're going to zoom in, take a look at the inside. There's like boxes, and there's a bed, and there's a sink area. So overall, I think this is a pretty solid home base. I'm interested to hear if you guys have thoughts on it. Please share them in the comments below. But that is about it for today's video. I want to thank you all for watching, and I want to thank our Patreon supporters so much for supporting us. Thank you all for doing that. We love you very much. And you can check out all our socials linked below if you don't already follow them. And if you are following them, thanks again. We super appreciate all the support people have been giving us. So that does it for today's video. Have a good one. We'll see you in the next one.